What? I'm gonna finally give you some peace from his voice. This is the best, worst thing of working with family. Look, let him go. You guys know, it's like universal experience. We all have kind of a uncle with alcohol problems. That's mine. I said this to someone in the morning, to this cup, saying that. They already knew. So that's my uncle, alcoholic, the alcoholic one. So, my friends, what is going to happen here? I will open a bottle of port wine, okay? But in a special way, okay? In a different way, and there's a purpose for this that I will explain you why, okay? So to start, let me start to give you some introduction to the port wines. Some of you guys might know, some of you might not. Some of you guys maybe already tried port. Now you just tried a white port, but different ones you probably, some of you didn't, okay? So, let me start like this. How many ports do we have? How many types of port wines do we have? You guys know? Do you have any idea? Three. Three, exactly. We have three. And they are Ruby, Tawny, and White. Very good. So, right now, on your glass, you are having a dry white. Okay, it's actually this one. Sometimes you may get confused because you have different levels inside of the port wine, okay? You might have tawny, whites, and rubies, and then different levels inside of them. Make sense? So, the white one, you can find this as dry white. You can find also as extra dry, okay? These two mostly used for what? As an appetizer, especially the dry, mostly cocktails. You guys saw, like the port tonics, for example, back in Porto City, people on the bar selling port tonics. It's like a gin tonic, but instead of using gin, use white port, this one. Or the extra dry. The extra dry is actually more for cocktails. This one is a little bit more versatile, where you can do like this as an appetizer, goes really good. Or kind of an afternoon snack, you pair with some mixed nuts, goes down really easily, okay? And then we have also a very famous one that we call the sweet white, or very old port, or very old white. Sometimes you'll find like this, different names, but they're all the same. And when I say sweet white, I mean really sweet, okay? That wine usually have around 140, 150 grams of sugar per liter, okay? So it's amazing for diabetic people. So if you're diabetic and you try that, turn the device off first, okay? That's what my father does. So, really, you have around 9 companies here on the Douro producing the sweet white. So if you guys have the chance to put your hand in one and try it, do it. If you like sweet drinks, try that one, okay? This one here, the dry white, only goes for stainless steel vats. Where does it gain that golden, brownish, golden, orange color? Mainly from the pieces of oak sometimes you put inside, okay? We use mostly French oak. Most of you guys probably don't know this. A lot of wines sometimes they say, oh, pass through oak, pass through oak. It's still stainless steel. They just put pieces of oak there, and then they can say the wine had contact with oak, but not oak barrels, okay? So most of the wines now, guys, it's marketing, and I mean, they're not wrong. They say the wine actually passed through oak, but not barrel, okay? This one here, tiny pieces of oak inside of the stainless steel vats. Make sense? Any question about the white, guys? No? No? This one here, Tawny. This is the one you guys are gonna have for dessert, okay? Tawny actually is the one. It's made with red grapes, actually, but it comes out from the barrel in that kind of brownish golden color, much more darker than this, of course, but comes with that more color. Why? Because they are the only one from the 3 that goes to the small oak barrels. Meaning what? The wine itself as a whole has much more contact with wood, and the wood basically takes out the color, it sucks out the color from the wine. So that's why the wine gets that brownish color, tawny color. Tawny is an old English word for brownish, for like those fall colors where you have the brown golden colors, you know. This is why the wine gets that type of color, mainly because of the wood, okay? And in terms of the way you can find the tawny, you can find sometimes a standard or colheita is what they call, or mostly you can find in ages like this, okay? 10 years, 20, 30, 40, sometimes it will be 40 plus, because back in the day 40 plus was the maximum. Then they made a 50, then an 80, and now I think Grams did a 90 years old like 3 months ago. What is this age? You guys might be asking. This age, basically, it's the average age of the grapes you have inside of the bottle. Meaning what? Minimum aging, 7 years of the grapes, minimum. But for example, for you to make a 10, you can have younger grapes than 10, not younger than 7 because that's not legal, but younger than 10 and older. But the average number of the age needs to be 10. Make sense with this? Same story goes for the 20, or the 30, or the 40, and here it goes. Okay? Always the average age that you have inside, or you can only have 10-year-old grapes. The average number is still 10, so no problem with that. Okay? Make sense with this? So, townies, usually you will find them like this. You're gonna try this one for dessert. Okay? The white and the townie. Let me just put this one here. The white and the tawny, they have something in common. That is what? Look at the corks. Can you see? They come with bar tops, okay? Where you can open, close, open, close. As soon as you open this wine, keep it on the fridge up to 1 year maximum, okay? The wine after that will start to lose some properties. And, I mean, guys, if you keep these things in the fridge for more than 1 year, you're doing something wrong, okay? Come on, don't be... so, maximum 1 year. But why they come with bar tops? And why you can open and close? Because these wines pass through a filtering process. And the only age they get, it's the age they have inside of the barrel. So as soon as you take them out, this wine does not age anymore. It will start to lose properties, of course. It will start some oxidation in some way, but not a good one, let's put like this. And the wine will start to lose properties. But if you keep it on the fridge, store it properly, it can hold. Because these wines already did all of the aging process they needed to do on the barrel. So this is a 10-year-old tawny. 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, this will still be a 10-year-old tawny. Make sense? This is why they come with these types of corks. Okay? Soon on the dessert, you're going to try this with an apple cake. If you also like sweet stuff, you're gonna see. This one we also use for also the sweet port, the sweet white. This one we use also a lot of this for Christmas desserts and stuff. Also these ones, the rubies. Okay? Any question about these two guys? Did you understand the differences? Yes? Yes? So let's go now for the rubies. The rubies, they are the most complex ones, okay? Why? Because you have the most different levels inside of them. Most famous ones will be the harvest, also colheita is what we call. You guys can buy that on a supermarket for 5-6 euros. Price never reflects quality on the wines, trust me. But on this one, usually it reflects. Usually terrible quality. It's not even, I mean, it's just a drinkable port. For a little bit more, you guys can buy already something much better, okay? You can find a ruby crusted, a black, an LBV, and a vintage, okay? These two being the highest levels that you can achieve. You have this one here. You're not going to try this one. This is an LBV, stands for late bottled vintage. And then you guys are going to drink actually the best of the best, that it's a vintage port. Okay, this one is from 2019, still a young one, but I will explain you what is this and the differences between both. So, to be quick as possible like this, rubies, they have a totally different aging process than those two. Why? First, look at the cork, natural cork, okay? They don't come with bar tops. Why? Because this is a wine that as soon as you open, especially this one, I mean, this one is still young, 6 years, you have around 30 to 36 hours to drink the wine. Otherwise, as soon as the wine starts having contact with oxygen and light, it will start the oxidation process much faster, okay? And after that time, you will have a good vinegar, okay? Because this wine, the rubies itself, by law, by IVDP, IVDP is the authority, institution, is the institution of the Douro and port wines. These guys are basically the wine mafia here on the Douro Valley. They control everything from the grapes you use, from the declarations of the wines, everything you guys can imagine, they control, okay? And you guys may not believe my words, Douro Valley and Madeira, you know Madeira, where Cristiano Ronaldo born, on the island? It's actually the two most regulated wine regions on the world, okay? The Douro Valley, it's one of the most, or the most from the two, okay? Why? There's a lot of copies, there's a lot of mafia around, and you guys have no idea. It's not important also, but there is. So this is why there's also these big regulamentations on the wines. Make sense? So, by law, by them, you can only age rubies up to 2 years inside of the barrel. Okay? After those 2 years, you need to take the wine out, and the wine will keep aging process. Where? Inside of the bottle. Okay? These wines, they are prepared for that. They pass through 0 filtering process. Okay? 0 filtering process. Oh, you'll go there and start to cry now if you let the ball drop there. They pass through 0 filtering process. So, he's stealing all the show, this guy. Be careful for him to not shake there. Okay, so I need to work. Let me. So, meaning what? This is a wine that, until you open the bottle, this wine never loses 2 things. Or with the passing years, it never loses 2 things, actually gain, that it's value and complexity. Make sense? As soon as you, of course, store this properly. Never store a wine like this on your kitchen balcony, on the horizontal position, so the cork will be dry, always horizontal, so the cork is still wet, doesn't dry, avoid those TCAs, whatever on the wine later, and also come in dark bottles so it doesn't allow light to penetrate. Make sense? So, this is a ruby as a whole, okay? What is now a vintage one? Vintage port, or a vintage ruby, because this is still a ruby, it's a single harvest from a single year, from an exceptional year. Let me put like this. We always, or most of the times, use old vines for this. Vines, sometimes they're already centenary, or they already reach 70, 80, 90 years old. Why is this? You guys never heard probably people saying, old best wine comes from the older vines? You probably heard this. Why is this? Especially in regions like this. We have a lack of irrigation. We don't have any irrigation. Meaning what? The roots of these vines, especially the older ones, is when they, for example, reach 100 years old, they can reach up to 20 meters below, 70 feet, more or less. Okay? Meaning what? They can reach for the best minerals, the best vitamins, the best nutrients. Even more important, they will never have a lack of anything of this. When they're young, they have the roots quite there. The soil is already poor. They get what they get what they can. You know, when they're already grown up a little bit, they can choose the best ones, or they will never have a lack of anything. This is why usually they say best wine comes from older vines. Make sense? For this, mostly 99% of the times they use it. This is why this wine is much better and much more unique than other ones. Okay, and of course not every year, because every year is different. For this you need weather, and the weather at the perfect timing and perfect amount. I mean sun and rain, of course, and also you have the vinification process. That's also very important, okay? And this is a wine that, let me put like this, for it to be approved at IVDP, you need to send a sample there. So imagine I'm a wine producer. I think I had a pretty good year. I've let this wine on the barrel for 2 years, and I send a sample to IVDP. IVDP, they have a panel of juries, okay? Let me put wine gurus on the wine industry, okay? Like big names like Robert Parker, James Suckling, of course not on those levels, but big names in Portugal, okay? And these guys will test your wine in a bunch of different levels. Tannins, aromas, fruitiness, if they respected the vinification process by law. Meaning what? They will actually declare if your wine can be achieved as a vintage or not, has the quality for a vintage. Make sense? Imagine they say no. For you to know what is this, you pick up your wine again, back to the barrel, because you can never achieve a vintage again with that wine. You send the wine again back to the barrel for more 4 to 6 years, so totally different than the other rubies, so the wine can develop what we call the secondary aromas, okay? You probably already heard this. We have 3 types. We have primary, basically fruitiness, basically the fruits, the natural flavors from the grapes. Secondary, it's everything that is added by the man, like the oak. Oak and the flavors that oak gives to the wine is not a natural flavor, okay? It's added by the man. And then we have tertiary aromas. Tertiary is the ones that we look in wines like this, inside of the bottle, the ones that you get with the aging process. Make sense with this? Yes? So, you send the wine again back to the barrel, and then after 4 or 6 years, depends up to the producer, you can come out as an LBV, a late bottled vintage. Is what we say. Too good to be just a ruby, but too bad to be a vintage. Make sense with this? Yes? So guys, did you understood all the differences between the ports? And what is a ruby and what is a vintage port? Yes? You guys now ready to see something quite unique? I don't know if you ever saw this online or live or I don't know. But if not, you're gonna see for the first time, if the wind allows me. Because there's really a lot of wind. Meaning what? So, what I have here now, I turn on the fire, I have here the tongue. This was actually to circumcise. I tried on George, but this one was too big. Guys, I'm joking. Don't cancel me, please. I'm joking. Don't tell him that. I have all of this here. Simple as this. Those ones, they come with a bar top. Okay? This one comes with a natural cork. Okay? You have a natural cork here. Always natural cork. If you guys want to know, we have 6 or 7 different types of cork that you use. Okay? For wines like this, always natural one. Why? We want to have always a little bit of micro oxygen exchange with the inside part to the wine to the outside and vice versa. Make sense? So let me put things like this. Imagine I told you that this wine can age on the side of the bottle and it will never lose value. Always be gaining complexity. So the more years you keep this wine, the better the wine will be. Okay? This is still a young one. We actually didn't need to do this process because it's 2019. But imagine now 50 years passed. 54 years passed. This will now be a 60-year-old wine. And you guys store it really good and you want to celebrate something important. That's what when we open wines like this, vintage port, we've been doing this since 1815. And we open this in special occasions like a birthday of a child or when the kid turns 18. You know, big, or when you get married, big events, okay? You guys want to celebrate something. What do you know? How do you guys think the cork shape is going to be when you try to open the wine 54 years from now? Tell me, what do you think?
It'll fall apart.
Of course. So if you go there with my corkscrew, and if I come here with a normal corkscrew, what do you think is going to happen?
Destroy the wine.
Of course, and it can crumble, it can ruin the wine basically in some way, okay? So to avoid that, we have 2 options, okay? There's a very famous one that people go there, you probably guys see, they use what we call the Durand. They go there, it's like a corkscrew, they go there, they have 2 blades on the side, they goes in, and then they pull out. So it doesn't damage the cork in some way, okay? Or you have the old Portuguese method that it's actually very famous also. You guys probably, I don't know if you saw this or not, but it's a very famous method that consists in what? Basically, you heat a tongue like this. We call this a port tongue. You put this tongue quite hot, and then you apply at the neck of the bottle and you mark a ring on the side. Okay? After that, I will apply water. Okay? And then this will allow me to create a thermal shock on that ring, on that part that was marked, and basically separate the top part of the bottle from the lower part without actually damaging the cork and most importantly the wine. Make sense with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? So I think this is more hot than enough. Let me just put like this. Guys, you probably cannot see, but I need to protect this from the wind, otherwise I can't see. I can't do it. Let me check. So, right now, I will do here a mark, okay? And I will apply some pressure. In case of the bottle explode, just open your mouth, okay? It's going to be Purple Rain, like that song from Prince. So, I will apply now. That's quite hot. Here in the neck. This wind scaring me. I don't know if you noticed, there's a tiny gap on the middle, so I just needed to give it here a little twist. And I look very weird doing this, but I'm just trying to protect, because already happened, I can't open with the wind. but we think it's much more beautiful to do this outside for you. So try to listen out to the thermal shock. Let me see. Did you hear this tiny click? Yes? Apparently it's a good sign. Let me see. Even if you guys didn't saw this, even 2 months ago, 3 months ago, there was a famous video on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, of a guy opening a bottle of petrol with his method. Have you saw that? I'm talking a 6,000–7,000 euro wine. Okay, so let me check. Like this. Can you guys already see the cork there? Yes? Can you all see it? Yes? So, apparently, it's a good sign. Jesus. Make me blush with the class. Guys, not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So, my friends, I did what? I did a cut a little bit on the top more. For you to do it perfectly, a little bit below, I do it like this, so white. So you guys can see the cork. Take a look there. Take a look past the cork around. You see the cork is still in good shape, okay? So, now we need to do something very important, that it's what? Opening the bouquet of the wine, decanting the wine, okay? Why? We want this wine to breathe, because this is a wine that it's been here for quite some years. No, it's a 6-year-old wine, not super old, but we still want this wine to breathe, and importantly, we need to keep the sediments outside, okay? Like I told you, this wine is unfiltered, so it still remains, it still has sediments, and with the passing years it will develop more and more and more. It's like you have the wine, this is a wine, correct? My hand. You have the molecules there, some molecules that will, like sugar, like chemical reactions with potassium, and with the passing years these molecules will kind of die, and this is why you have creates that deposit at the end, okay? That's why. I'm going to do just a little shake here. Never do this, I'll just do it to show you the sediments here. Look at here. Can you all see? Yes? You guys may not believe my words, this wine is much more special than these other two, but in terms of production, this is much more easier to do for the producer, because this wine passes through zero filtering process. This is why you have these sediments like here. I'm gonna leave them here. If you guys want to take a look, even if you want, they're actually edible. You can pass your finger there and try them. A lot of restaurants, they use this to make reduction sauces and jams. So here we don't use them for anything, so just go there and try them if you want. Cool? And now we go through the most important part, that it's what now?
Tasting?
Of course. My friends, things are gonna work like this. After this, George will ring the bell. We are going inside of the lunch. Let's go one at a time, okay? Why? Because we have groups, and for us to not separate nobody on the tables, let George sit you for us to put everyone together, okay? And most important is what? George doesn't travel. George is an old man. I travel a lot, and I love to travel, meaning what? I need to humanize myself, meaning like this. I'm also a tourist, and we treat you guys like we would like to be treated if I was in your countries. Make sense with this? So anything you guys need, you always ask me or George. We need you guys to feel comfortable through the whole day with everything. Cool? We have a deal with that? Yes? Okay, so let's go now. Oh, still drinking that one?